So now we're going to move into lighting. And so with the lighting, I'm just using, if you check an environment, click on environments, click on environment lighting. This is the default lighting that comes with, I think, each project that you start as a new project. And so if I run it, well, so this is where I save my camera bookmarks. So if you don't know, this is where, if you pick an angle, so if you saw me doing this, just trying to find a good angle, zooming in, zooming out. Once I find the one that I'm satisfied with, I just come up to here, click on this, click the plus sign, and then it adds a bookmark of that specific view, and then I just rename it. So I have 5 shots right now, different ones, different angles like this. So I ended up just sticking with shot number 5 because I just like, enough of a holistic view of the whole scene. At first I was gonna have the text up front here, but eventually I was like, too much crowding. So let me just take it to the back. So a lot of the emphasis is on the orange iced tea, and then the text is in the back just as a descriptor. So yeah, so with the lighting, again, this is the default lighting in the environment. If you come to intensity, usually it's at 100, just because I was practicing, so I just put it at 90. Rotation, again, is at 0 degrees and no color added. So at this point, this is just a raw lighting system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first create a custom lighting. Oh, this is a nice angle. I like this one. Let's save this one. Okay, shot number 6. I like this one too. The reason why I like this one is because, with this wall here and the shadow. So that's going to be, again, my goal while I'm working with lighting, is try to have some of the shadows come in and out. But overall, I think this is a pretty decent lighting system. Maybe a little highlights, it's too bright. So yeah, so let's try. Okay, so what am I going to do is I'm going to go to here. This is lights, and I'm going to pick, let me see. No, let me do a custom one. So I'm going to pick a shape, and let's just add a cube. Okay, so V to have it selected like this. And then I'm just going to click and drag. So clicking and dragging increases the height and decreases. So you can do that for both axes. This way, that way. Okay. And then to rotate, you can click on this one. So again, when you're in Adobe Dimension, feel free to just mess around, just have fun. That's how I started. I just fooled around, played with things, also, watched other videos and stuff, and some of it I just made up on myself. But it always helps to just practice, just try it out for yourself. Okay, maybe this light is too big. Let me reduce it like this. Okay. And I'm just using the shadow to gauge, so I know that it's over. Yeah. Okay, let's apply wand tool. Okay, let's go to glow. Let's put a glow on it. Okay, is it still glowing? Why does it do that? What am I missing here? Let me turn that off and see what happens. Okay, awesome. It's working. Sweet. Okay, shot 6. Okay, this is almost the same as the other one. So usually I either do a 1-point perspective, 2-point perspective, or 3-point perspective lighting. Okay, so it all depends how many light sources you want to use. So for this one, let me see. Let me try bringing it down a bit. Okay, let me try bring it down a bit. And then I'll also work on the intensity too. So I'm just going to bring it down this way. Okay, At this point, it might be really bright, but let's see. Turn down the intensity here. Okay, so you can see the highlight here. It's really bright, but the plus side is, excuse me, you can see more of the ice cubes, right? Compared to where it was before. So let's go back to what it was before. Let's scroll out. And let's just raise it up. It was somewhere here, right? Okay. And let's go in to that shot and let's render. So again, this is so clear. How close the light is reflected on certain objects or textures that receive that light, the more of it you're gonna see. So again, I'm just gonna bring that back in. So I'm gonna bring it here. Maybe high a bit. Okay, let's go back to shot 6. Let's try the intensity. Now you can see, you know. So in this case, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the top light to kind of, you know, reveal a lot of this nice textures, you know, with the glass reflection, the reflections on the ice, you know, bring out that detail a little bit. But what I'll do is, just so I take down, reduce this contrast here. Oops, excuse me. I'm gonna reduce the brightness of, I'm just gonna name this top light. Okay, again, remember, please always name your files. Okay, top light. Let's go into glow, and then down here in glow, this is the intensity. I'm gonna take that down to, let's say, 250. 250. Let's see what it looks like in 250. Okay. Yeah, 250 looks pretty good. You know, now it's a lot more, how do I say it? It's the lighting on the surface here is less harsh. Again, and these materials. Okay, let me show you something. So in this default Adobe Dimension model, it's called a cylinder. So you just click and drag, and that's what I did, and I just changed the color of the cylinder. But each of these materials, let me just call this stage. Each of these default materials, they have an opacity, a roughness, a metallic, and a glow. Okay, but if you come to translucence, the index of refraction, you know, or translucency. So how much of the light do these materials receive and then bounce off of them? You know, so you can increase how much you want, how much light you want the material to receive, or how much light you don't want it to receive. But in this case, I think for now, my custom lighting for the top, you know, at 250 intensity looks pretty good. But then now I want to add one to the front, a second one to the front. So the front part of this piece would be illuminated a little bit more. Okay, so let's turn that off. Let's just bring back the environment light to 102. Okay, and so I'm gonna duplicate, Control C, Control V, and then I'm just gonna name this front light. Okay, so I'm just gonna change the angle of it. I'm gonna bring it here. I'm gonna change it like this, I think, or like this. Let's see, like this. Let me see, maybe that's too big. Let me just reduce it a little bit and then take it this way. Let me take it this way a little bit. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to work with the direction, which direction I want the light to come from. So in this case, if shot 6, I want the light to come from this angle, from the left side, and come this way into the piece. I could have done it to come from directly on the front face, but in that case, it's just going to be, I'm not going to have much contrast, you know, with some shadows. I want the shadows to somewhat appear on this side, you know, because if the light is facing from the front, the shadows are going to be in the back, and in that case, it's like you can't really see that contrast properly. So let me see. Okay, let me try this one. Okay, I'm gonna go up to environment. I'm gonna turn intensity down, and then I'm just gonna render, see what happens. Okay, so to just help you understand what's happening here, I'm gonna turn off the top light so you can see which angle the front light is coming from. There you go. So in this case, I could bring it forward a bit because it seems to be too far away. Yeah, it's too far away. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this back up. Okay, I'm gonna select this light, and let's just take it forward a bit, like that. Okay, that looks good. And let's see what it looks like. Okay, that's good. Let's try this shot. Let's try a close-up shot. It looks pretty good. Okay. Then let me add the top light in there. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. This looks pretty good. So again, yeah, I'm looking for softness. I mean, you can do some of this after in like Photoshop and just use the tools that they have to work on the lighting properly. But I think setting it up in the beginning is really important. That way it makes the rest of your editing much more easier. So in this case, you know, for the straws, I didn't use a plastic material. I used like a bronze, I think. What's it called? I can see in here. So it's called like a darkened antique bronze. So I use like a bronze. That's why it has a shiny texture to it, which I thought it looks kind of nice. It has that cool, more of like a high-end type of drink. You know, it kind of makes the iced tea look like a high-class type of iced tea. So with the shadows in the back here, I don't know. I think the text is kind of, it's not really standing out, which I would want it to stand out a bit. So I might put a light on it to kind of just help it pop a little bit. Otherwise it just seems kind of lost in the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make like a custom light to just shine on the text, and let's see what happens. Honestly, guys, I'm just experimenting as I go, you know. And if you have ideas, if you have suggestions on lighting and stuff, you know, I'm not an expert on, you know, like lighting, and you know, I haven't done much, you know, specialization in lighting, but I know just a little. I know a decent amount about lighting. So let's name this one text light. Text light. Okay. Let's go to top view. So yeah, to access this tool, I just click 1, the number key 1, and then now I can rotate all around. So I'm going to reduce the size. What's happening? Okay. Oh, there's two lightings on it. Yeah, my bad. Okay. Okay, and I'm gonna set that in an angle. Okay. Oops, it's not straight. Okay, so I'm just trying to get a certain angle on how I would have the light reflect. Oof. Okay. Yeah, sometimes you just have to like work with different angles. You know, takes a lot of try and error. Okay, I think this is it. Let me bring it just a little bit closer. Hopefully it's reflecting on it. Let's go here. Okay, let's turn environment light down. And let's render and see what it looks like. So you can see now it's illuminated a little bit better. Okay, compared to if I turned it off. Let's see what it looks like if it's turned off. See, it seems lost. So in this case, I'll turn it back on and move it a little bit forward. Yeah, turn it back on. Okay. Let's just take it closer like this. I think that's good. Let's turn the environment down. Okay. I think that's cool. Yeah. Let's turn the intensity up a bit for the text color. We go to glow, we go down to intensity, and let's make it 300. Okay, let's see what it looks like. Yeah, so you can see the shadows down here. You know, that just helps to make the depth be seen better. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. I don't know what it would look like if I used a round light instead of like a rectangular stretched out light on the piece. I mean, in this case, I think it seems pretty good. Yeah, maybe let me move it closer just a tiny bit. Move it closer just a tiny bit. Okay, let's look for the text. Okay, let's just move it down. Okay, let's see if it's in the frame. Do I use number 5 and number 4? Number 5, yep. Number 6. Okay, it's in there just a little bit, but let's do 5. Let's run it and see what it looks like. Turn intensity down and then render. That looks good. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely like the depth. Okay. So the next step, what we're going to do is the back here seems to be getting lost. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little directional light, not to completely take out all the shadows, but to kind of, I don't know, just brighten up this area just a little bit. Almost like, let me show you. So there is a wall on this right side. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to cast a shadow, cast a light that would kind of bounce off of this wall, and then the reflection of this wall would somewhat show here on the back wall, just to add some kind of interest in the background, so the background just doesn't look like a dark, you know, dark wall, orange dark wall. So let's try and see what that looks like. Oh, apparently my computer decided not to work, and so the first set of recording I did, it didn't go through. So I'm just back again to do it properly. I'll do it again. Okay, so the last time I was trying to figure out the lighting on this side. So let me just stop this. Environment lights, bring back the intensity so I can see what I'm doing. So I was trying to get this wall to cast a shadow onto this back wall, but for some reason I don't know what was happening. It wasn't working well. I think the material or the texture that I put on this wall wasn't absorbing the light properly. I don't know. So I just ended up bringing the light source to the ground to kind of brighten up this section, because previously without this it was kind of high contrast, sort of low contrast, it was kind of darkish, and so I wanted to kind of brighten up the background so there wouldn't be such a sharp difference between the foreground and the background, but still allowing this main layout to kind of still stick out properly. So what I did was, let me just go into this view. I think it was 5. Okay, 5. And if I run, just to preview, let me turn the environment light off. Okay, I've turned the light off. So you see here, you can see that light that's on the ground. This is it here. All over here. Oops. That's what's showing right here. Okay. And so if I turn it off, I think it's a left wall light, right wall light. If I turn it off and then it runs now, you would see what it was before. And you know, again, it comes down to preference. What type of feel you're trying to capture. Okay, so in this case, it's much more darker here. To me, it feels lost in a sense of this setup here has nothing to do with the back. You know, it's almost like, okay, I'm here, you're there. We're all just sticking to our business. But I think just bringing up the shadows, you know, just adding some light to those shadows just a little bit, not too much, helps it have like an easy flow of contrast between the background and the foreground. And so as you can see here, by adding that small light to the ground and angling it up to point upwards, the same way we did with this text, you know, because the light's up here, it's pointing down to help illuminate or let this organic text show properly and clearly. So the next thing I did was I also added a little light here. So if I run the left wall light, if I turn that off, you would see that the shadows on the left side are really harsh. Oops. So you can see it's really harsh shadows over here. you know. So in order for this side to kind of match up with this side, I added just a really long light on this side, and with, I think, with an intensity of like 300. That's what the intensity was. So let me show you what that light looks like. So I just add back the intensity. Okay, and I scroll here. Oh, because it's hidden. Okay, just bring it back, and there it is. Just a simple shape tool with the front selected and then the glow material put on it. And so what that does is it just, you know, brightens up the background. Okay, turn that intensity down. Run it now. And so you see the shadows, it is still a little bit dark there, but it's not as bad as before, you know, but still adding, you know, a moody kind of background feel, like, hey, like what's happening behind there, you know. But yeah, so that's kind of the feel that I'm trying to work out. And so the third thing that I did behind when I wasn't recording was I actually rendered the whole scene, the whole setup, but what was missing was there wasn't, you know, when you take ice cubes out of the freezer and you throw it up, you just toss it on a surface or something. I mean, depending on, you know, how long it takes you to use those ice cubes, they're gonna start melting, you know. And so I just kind of, with this, if you end up purchasing these materials, it would come with kind of droplets. This is what they look like. Oops. Okay. So this is what they look like from the top view. Just these drops in there. And I mean, not a lot of it, you know, just to add a little texturing around so it doesn't just look like a bunch of cubes just sitting there, but it looks like, you know, they've been going through a normal process of somewhat melting, you know, because I mean the light's up there and maybe the lights are melting the ice cubes. So that's just something small I added to it, just to help with the aesthetic or the look of everything. But yeah, so apart from that, I think that's all that I got done. Overall, I'm happy with what it is. I'll probably just render it and just send it and put it into Photoshop and just do a little, you know, work with the brights, the highlights, the lows, the shadows, just a little bit. Maybe add some overall texture to the image. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch through the video. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it down in the comments below. If you can, like this video, that would be awesome. If you haven't subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. So thank you so much for your time, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.